this Human Rights Day, we stand for equality.
We stand for justice. We stand for South Africa.
And we can only do it together.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
And we have the Across the Desk feature. It happens every Friday on this show with Clement. And I'm also doing it. It's part of the furniture. And I'm not moving furniture at all. On Across the Desk, often we speak to individuals from one particular industry to get to understand a little bit better what they do, how they do it, why they do it, and if they keep doing it. If situations were different. So we would, today we are focusing on primary and high school teachers, including ECD teachers, the whole educator frontal perspective. How does it feel being an educator in 2025? Why did you become an educator? These are people who are literally holding our economy with their hands, but we don't pay much attention to them. We don't take them seriously. We put them on the periphery of anything else, and we pretend that they don't matter as such. The salaries that teachers get, embarrassing, yet we're the first to complain about education, schools, classroom, children. Literally, we take the kids from home and we dump them in the schools and we say, see what to do with these individuals and turn them into amazing citizens. But do we pay them enough? I promise you, if you were to open the lines and say teachers should get minimum of 50,000 rands a month, minimum, many of you are going to fight with me. But we are happy to pay CEOs millions and millions per day, right? Yeah, because they matter and teachers don't. Just being saucy. Give us a call, 011-883-0702, 011-883-0702. I'd love to hear from you as we engage in this discussion with my guests. One of them is right in the studio with me, Lenda Sibanyoni-Muze, who is from the Little Stars Preschool and Aftercare. Linda, thank you so much for coming through. Really appreciate it. Welcome to 702.
Thank you for having me. It's really an honor.
It's great to have you with us, especially in studio. We really appreciate it and we look forward to the discussions. Nosihle Magutshwa is primary school teacher. Nosihle teaches grade 4 and 5 and Nosihle teaches IsiZulu. Nosihle, hi, welcome. Welcome to 702. Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm free. How are you, Nosihle?
I'm also fine.
Good. Welcome. Looking forward to chatting with you. And I understand we have Xolani Dube as well, joining us on Zoom. Xolani is National Coordinator of South African Democratic Teachers Union Student Chapter. Xolani, hi, welcome.
Good morning to you and good morning to your listeners.
Great. Good morning to you, and we look forward to discussions much later on. I am not leaving out Makgutsis. Mtshwene, is Makgutsis there? Makgutsis is there, I'm told by the producers. Makgutsis is also a teacher at Höer Tegniese Skool, Langlaagte, in Johannesburg, where Makgutsis teaches geography and English in the FET phase. Good morning and welcome to you.
Morning. How are you guys?
We are thrilled to have you with us. Makgutsis, really happy to have you with us. I couldn't see your name there because I suspect you're on Zoom. So for whatever reason, I just couldn't see. Forgive me for that. But let's go straight to it. Firstly, thanks to all of you for coming through. What is the role of a teacher? Maybe let's start with you, Linda, because you're in studio, you get home ground advantage. What is it that pushed you to become a teacher? It seems like such a job that is thankless, that no one cares about. Why would you become a teacher and why did you become a teacher?
Well, having 6 kids of my own, I think that's the first inspiration. And I also strongly believe that early childhood development is very crucial, because it lays a foundation for a child's future success. And it also encompasses the holistic development of a child. So I think, my kids and the whole holistic development of a child was really my inspiration.
And ECD, I mean, that's where they come without knowing anything.
Yes.
We take them from home to ECD, literally, so they know nothing about nothing. So much that you are more than a teacher, you are a mom, you are a parent as well, because you're not just dishing out curriculum, you are looking after this little sensitive thing.
Yes, no, definitely. I mean, science has proven that the first 6 years of a child's life is actually very crucial, in a sense that, as we know, over 1 million neutral connections are formed. And that's where they basically learn who they are and their well-being development as well. So it's quite an exciting field to see them grow and develop into these, humans at the end of the day, yes.
What is most challenging about ECD? I'm sure there are many things, but one thing that stands out mainly when a child is in front of you at ECD.
I think the most challenging thing is, I think most people would agree, is the finances. I think it's one sector that is mostly underpaid. And we are very grateful for the current Banapili initiative that was taken, where we are actually recognized and we can have a voice and we can actually get benefits of the government also supporting us. So I think that is one challenge. And also, I think 25% of parents don't actually realize how crucial it is for a child to develop in a setting where they get to actually be trained and develop towards their correct milestones. So yes, I think that those are the most challenging aspects.
We are going to come to the Banapili Roadmap Leadership Summit that was convened, and there were about 150 senior leaders from government, private sector, and other stakeholders were there. And it focused on various pillars on improving learning outcomes and putting a spotlight also on ECD. So we'll touch on that a little bit later. But from ECD, we take them to primary school, and that's where we find you, Teacher Nosihle. Do they call you Teacher Nosihle, or do they say Mrs. Magutshwa, or do they say ma'am?
Miss Magutshwa.
Okay. And does that matter at all? Because different schools use different titles for the teachers.
Oh, it doesn't matter because I'm Miss, obviously. So they call me Miss Magutshwa.
Yeah. So coming to the substance of it, the classroom. I mean, we see videos, Miss Magutshwa, and we see things that are sometimes not palatable. However, we also see nice things where some teachers are using interesting ways of teaching, and the learners are singing, dancing with the teachers. When you were a learner, and now that you're a teacher, have you identified a bit of a disjuncture between the two? And what is it, if there's any? Nosihle Magutshwa? We've lost Nosihle. We'll try to get Nosihle back, and Nosihle was supposed to join us. She'll be joining us shortly, and she is with, she's a grade 4 and 5 teacher, EXhaphozini Primary School, where she teaches IsiZulu. Let's jump quickly to you, Makgutsis Mtshwene, and you are at Tegniese, Skool Langlaagte in Johannesburg. High school learners, do you love it?
So far I love it. It's quite challenging, but yeah, I love every minute of it.
So you wake up and do what? We think that teachers just stand in front of the learners and you start writing on the chalkboard. Well, you wake up and you do what? The typical high school day teacher, ma'am.
Yeah, it's quite hectic. So you have to wake up early. Some of us will have morning classes, which may start at 6:30.
Yo.
Because I teach grade 12, the time is not enough. So I need to have extra time with them so that I can prepare them for the final exam. So what I do is, before you sleep, you need to prepare yourself. Find easier ways to deliver the curriculum. Assist learners. I normally have a WhatsApp group where learners can send me questions where they don't understand things. So sometimes we would stay up throughout the night discussing challenges that they may have, finding ways to assist them to come up with easier ways, sending videos, So yeah, it's quite challenging.
What makes a good teacher?
A good teacher, someone who can put themselves in the learner's shoes. I mean, learners are going through a lot. You look at their backgrounds and you come to realize that some of them are from very hectic backgrounds, and you need to put yourself in their shoes and understand how they may be feeling. Sometimes they act out, and then sometimes teachers would assume that, this learner is being disrespectful,
Yeah.
this learner is this way. But if you just sit down with them and speak to them, and then they unpack everything they are going through every day, and then you realize that actually you need to be a mother more than anything.
And discipline is a bit tricky now. I mean, during my days, I know we used to get jacks. Meaning that we got the stick literally. We got the stick literally, and I was fortunate.
Yes.
The new government came in and they cancelled that. I was the happiest of all the lot. But now, what works as far as discipline is concerned? Detention, because at times it even wastes the teacher's time. But what works? You in the classroom, and Thabo is really going at it, stopping you from delivering curriculum, and they're just a nuisance. They're talking back. What do you do? What's that thing that gets the learner to do as you want them to do?
Yeah, at first, when my superiors would say, guys, if a learner is giving you trouble, give them extra work. I thought, you know what, this is not gonna work. So I tried it, and you know what, these learners that seem to be troublesome at some stages, I would just give them more responsibility in the classroom. Like, can you please do this for us? Wipe the board. Can you give learners this worksheet? Can you collect the books for me? And you'd find that in most cases, they feel important in the classroom, that they stopped doing whatever they're doing. And then I would say to them, I'm expecting a lot from you as the leader of the class. And then miraculously, it just changes. Their behavior just changes from there.
Fantastic. Well, I didn't see that one coming at all. Let's come to you, Xolani. You're the national coordinator of SADTU, and of course, you're looking after the teachers' interest or the educators' interest in that particular sector. What are some of the complaints that teachers are coming to you with generally, where you think that this is a common denominator?
Yeah, no, thanks. One of the issues that seems to be common and seems to be one of the apex issues is the issue of violence within schools. There is a lot of violence that is ongoing in schools. I think you would see a lot of videos circulating, violence from learners to teachers. It has been one of the prominent issues that one has been getting consistently. And we have been trying to deal with it through I'm a School Fan campaign. That's how we've been trying to deal with it and trying to address this issue. So it's one of the common issues that I get from day to day.
Do you feel that, and I'm asking you a very unfair question, Xolani, because SADTU does represent teachers, and I know there are other unions as well, you're the biggest, but surveying the environment, do you think that teachers are a little bit unhappier of late? And if so, what? Because the change in curriculum, the discipline in the classroom, combined with remuneration of the teachers that is not sufficient, it can be a very toxic concoction that produces strong levels of unhappiness.
Yeah, no, true. You'd understand. There's a lot going on behind the teaching sector. People think that it's only having to take the chalk and going to the chalkboard and write. As one of the speakers spoke, there's the issue of preparation that takes place. And I think we're amongst some of the professions which to take work back home. Doctors don't take patients with them home. So you would find that we are one of those sectors that would have to deal with those things. And having to come to the salaries, this is why I would complain from time to time. When you go to other countries such as Germany, the teachers are highly paid. And looking at the amount of work that we have and that teachers have, and based on the remuneration that they get, it's quite too little compared to the work that they do. You'd find that they deal with a lot of things within the classroom. They need to deal with the psychosocial support of the learners. as you'd understand, learners come from different backgrounds. Some come from deep poor homes. Some they experience abuse and everything, and we need to deal with all those challenges. And you'd find the amount of work with teachers have.
Sure.
So you'd understand what goes on, and having to look at how much they get. It's not compared. It's you cannot compare it to what they do.
How much do they get? I'm sure that is representative of the teachers. I mean, let's go straight to it. What is you know all of these, you know different phases, and you are working very closely with teachers. I know very little about it, but generally, what would you characterize as an appropriate, perhaps not the best, but appropriate level of remuneration for an entry-level teacher? I don't know if you call it level 1, but what would be the right number there?
No, you're putting me on a spotlight. No, remember that for us to speak about the issue of salaries, there are many economic considerations that we need to take into place. We are currently saying that the figure which they are getting is not fair. But for me to determine which could be the correct figure, I don't think I would be correctly placed, because there are many things that we need to take into consideration. But we are saying the current amount which teachers are getting, it's not enough. And you'd understand what might be sufficient from my own perspective, and what might be enough might not be enough for anyone who's listening at home.
I agree, but I'm just talking entry level. You're straight from college, and you've just finished, I don't know if you call it learnership, entry level. What would we call it? Okay, maybe let's start this way. How much are they getting for entry level post?
Currently, they are getting at least at around about 20,000 rands after deductions. Then definitely it will what will determine what becomes a take home based on the deductions which each and every individual will have based on the policies and
that's government schools, right? Government schools, just so that we are all clear. Okay.
Yes, that's government schools.
Yeah, and you would have studied for how long? 4 years?
You would have studied 4 years. Of course, it's a 4 years. You need to have a minimum requirement. At least you should have studied for 4 years.
And then practicals 2 years?
Yeah, it differs from one institution to another, but the accredited time, it has to be at least around about, once the consolidated, it should be at least close to a year. Because remember, student teachers, when they go for their teaching practice, they cannot go for the entire year. So they will be breaking down according to these staggered ways of 4 years. So probably the first year you would go for 3 months, or the second year 3 months, or 4 weeks. It depends from one institution to another. But of course, there is an accredited time that has been placed by a SACO.
Okay, 24 minutes after 10 o'clock, you're on 702. Thanks for joining us. My name is Thabo, Shole-Mashao, and we are speaking about this very important career in teaching, from ECD to high schools. And my guest right in the studio with me, Lenda Sibanyoni-Muze from the Little Stars Preschool and Aftercare. We now have Nosihle back, Nosihle Magutshwa from EXhaphozini Primary School. Xolani Dube is National Coordinator of SADTU, and Makgutsis Mtshwene is teacher at Höer, Tegniese Skool, Langlaagte. We are diving a little bit deeper and trying to find out about this very important vocation. I don't even want to call it a career, this vocation of teaching. Why is it that teachers are not given sufficient respect, remuneration, and clout that they deserve in this very important career that they have chosen? I see that Nosihle has just joined us, but very quickly to you, Lenda. Do you the remuneration of ECD learners, do you feel that because ECD for a long time did not belong in the Department of Basic Education, has been on the periphery, has been neglected, and has not received sufficient attention?
Thank you, Thabo. No, definitely. It's been very, very tough. We were one of the most unrecognized industry. And it's very sad because, was it Xolani? that indicated the amount of work we actually put in. It's very sad, Lesson planning starts from ECD. Teachers at ECD level also prepare lessons. They also have sleepless nights where they have to prepare a lesson, for the next day. They go through challenges where learners are actually not developing accordingly to their milestones. And then you get ignorant parents, when they are informed of certain aspects of the child's development, and they think, the teacher's just got a personal,
vendetta against the child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it has been quite a difficult phase when we were still under social development. I must say there has been a drastic change since we actually moved over to the Department of Education.
Yeah.
A lot has happened, and we are very grateful. I think we're moving towards the right direction, definitely.
Good. Nosihle, thanks for joining us again. We lost you for a little while there, and we were just asking about primary school. They come to you, and you need to prepare them for high school. They don't come from similar backgrounds, and learning can be a bit difficult for many of them who are trying to navigate those spaces. What's a trick of a primary school teacher in making sure that there's discipline, the child is absorbing curriculum as they ought to? Is it more tougher in primary school than in high school?
It is more tough, especially in grade 4. Since I'm teaching grade 4, they're still coming from foundation phase. They don't know nothing about the intermediate phase, what is happening in intermediate phase.
Yes.
So you need to adjust. You need to pull up your socks if you are teaching grade 4, because they know nothing. It's like you need to prepare them for intermediate. You see, the workload, they were only learning maybe 3 or 4 subjects in foundation. So now if they are coming in grade 4, they need to adjust, because there is social science, there is what do you call this, NS and tech. So there's a lot going on. In primary.
Nosihle, one of the criticisms that are out there in public, especially against grade 4 phase, that particular phase that you are teaching, is that a number of children in that particular phase or class, they cannot read for meaning. And that has been highly publicized because of international assessments that is being conducted along those lines. What would you say as someone who interacts with these learners every single day? It's easy for me to open a microphone and shout at teachers and give my 2 cents worth on nothing that on something that I know nothing about. What would you say? What causes that? That's if that's the reality. But what's your experience around those learners not reading for meaning at that point?
They don't know how to write. They don't know how to what do you call this? They don't know how to construct sentences. Like, I think the problem is that in foundation phase, usually they write the things in their books, and then the learners they should take this thing in their exercise books, of which when they are coming in the foundation phase, they need to construct the sentences. They need to do more work for themselves without the teachers. So you see. You understand?
Yeah. After the news, Nosihle, I would love us to delve into that and find out why exactly. Could it be the teachers? Could it be the learners? And could it be the parents that are at fault? What can be done to sort out this issue of reading for meaning in that phase?
This Human Rights Day, we stand for equality.
We stand for justice. We stand for South Africa.
And we can only do it together.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
Indeed, we stand for South Africa. We stand for justice. We stand for this beautiful country. And let's walk the talk. 25 minutes to 11 o'clock. Welcome back. I'm Thabo, Shole-Mashao. I'm in for Clement. We're together till 12. It's Human Rights Day. On this feature across the desk today, we are putting a special spotlight and laser focus on ECD, primary and high school teachers. Just generally, this teaching fraternity, what is it doing for South Africa? Are we doing enough to make sure that before we complain about our education system, we also playing our role in making sure that everything else is okay. 011-883-0702-072-702-1702.
Morning, Thabo and team. Great topic as usual. I think in South Africa we lack a culture of giving back, unfortunately, because the very same CEO who earns millions per month should be concerned or at least remember his teachers. I see this with my mom all the time when, we're in the Eastern Cape. We may be there for a funeral or whatever the case may be, but she never forgets to go and visit her teachers, and just that cup of tea, even though they've retired obviously long time from now, they still appreciate those gestures. The other thing I've noticed is in other countries, especially where my wife was teaching English in Korea and in Japan, kids are taught to respect their teachers greatly. And I think parents also gift a lot of gifts, money, for different occasions, Valentine's Day, Christmas, all of those things, gifts to the teachers. So we really need to do more as society to uplift our teachers. Fully in agreement. Have a good day. Cheers.
Thanks very much for that. Really encouraging. Really enjoyed that call. 011-883-0702. Fernand, you are in Harties. Hi. Welcome.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. At that beautiful Friday in South Africa.
Yes.
Tell me, we were talking about teachers and all, and the first thing that came in my head, it's the passing rate of matrix is 35%. So obviously, you're going to get some teacher that come from a matrix of 35%. So of course, the quality and the vocation that you call it needs to be a lot more better than 35% pass rate. And this is for the nurse, this is for plumbing, this is for anything that is not a doctor, has passed his metrics at 35%. So we're building a population of 35%. And the beauty of it, it's when they announce the result, everybody says, wow, 98%, 80% pass. At 35%, they forget to tell you that, 35%. So imagine the kind of nurse and teacher you are getting. You're going to get 35% people. And at the end of the day, sadly, that's the reality of South Africa. So yes, education needs to be taken very seriously in this country. But I do understand. Don't get me wrong.
Hold on. Before you finish with the 35%, I'd be amiss. No, you didn't do anything wrong. But I have to correct something. You do know that it's not just 35%, right? Contrary to popular belief and what politicians want to spew into the public domain. It's not just 35. There's a matrix to it. You can't just get 35 for everything and pass. That's not how it works. There's a matrix. You can get 35% for this, and you ought to get over 50% for this. There's a matrix that go with it. So I don't want it to be just a general blanket statement that it's 35 and you pass. It doesn't really work like that. But I will give my experts who are here to tell you the matrix. But over and above, I'll let them do that. And then let me
just bring something.
I will. I'll let you. I'll allow you, Fernand. I'll allow you. I'm not going to just hang up on you after I have shared. It's a conversation. So after that, we then move on to a phase where you have to specialize to become a teacher, to become a nurse, to become a whatever. Absolutely. And at that point, at the university, you don't survive. You don't even enter with just 35%. You don't qualify because the competition is so high and those marks are not allowed. So you would have done yourself a massive disservice if your average was 35, which won't even give you a pass. But assuming, going with your logic, you won't even enter the university to do what you want to do. Even, let's say you did, which is impossible. You then need, when you're at varsity, as we all know, 35 doesn't suffice at all. So you can't even get to be whatever you want to be. So I'm just saying the simplicity of this 35% has to be done away with. We have to remove it because that's not really how it goes. Fernand, I'm listening to you. Then I'll go back to my guest.
I was going to say to you, my home worker, that we are very close to. Yes. Her son pass is 8th grade. You call it 8th grade? I'm sorry, I'm Canadian. So the 8th grade, the poor little kid, one of his subjects, he didn't get nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
He passed one subject okay, one subject that he passed,
Yeah.
they push him to grade 9. And this is not joking.
No,
It's
I hear you, but
reality.
I don't know about that. There could be various mitigating circumstances, and I don't know. And listen, I'm not also a spokesperson of education, but let's allow them to speak for themselves. But it's not as simple as that. That's all that I wanted to say. But not just as someone who's been on the school governing body, worked in the education sector, but also a parent. I don't think that's how it goes, but I could be wrong. My guests are here. They'll answer for themselves. Let's see. Maybe I see you're nodding there, Lenda, and you're disagreeing with that. But shall we go then maybe to, let's go to Makgutsis Mtshwene. Please speak about, you are a teacher in high school. Please speak about the 35% phenomenon. I could be completely wrong. How do you do your markings, and what's the criteria of allowing a learner to move from one grade to the next?
Oh, thanks to the parent who was just speaking. I hope it's a parent. It's one of the things that would frustrate you actually, where you'll get a learner who has been progressed from grade 7 because seemingly they cannot repeat a grade or a phase. So you end up having, I'll speak for myself, a learner in matric who has been progressed throughout high school. Then now you are dealing with a content gap that you need to fill in. Come end of the year, if they do pass, you will find that they've passed most of their subject with 30%, where they'll end up getting a higher certificate, which is something that we do not encourage. We're always encouraging our learners to thrive for a bachelor pass, where they'll get a 40% in their home language and then 50% in for other subjects, as well as a 30 in their 2 subjects. So this 30% is quite frustrating if you look at it. In geography, because I teach geography grade 12, I always tell them, guys, we're not going for 30. We need to get 50 and above. I am not going to tolerate a 30% pass. For me, it just doesn't do it.
So we're going to Xolani now. Maybe we should just do that right away. Xolani, can you pass the grade having attained just 35% throughout all your learning areas?
Yeah, no, thanks. I think there is this ongoing misconception. And when the announcements of results came in this year, there was a clear clarification from the DG in terms of what goes in for a person to pass. So it's not just a 30%. We have got what we call the APS scores, and we have got what we call the grading of matric. So this is why you'd find that there is a person who has got a bachelor pass, and there is a person that has got a diploma pass, a higher certificate pass, and all that. So if had it been that we have got a learner who gets 30% in all the subjects, that learner clearly would have not passed. So it's not a point blank in to say it's 30% and you pass. So there is this ongoing misconception. There are certain requirements, prerequisite requirements you need to meet before you pass. For an example, for you to pass, it must make sure that your life orientation is above 50%. We need to make sure that your IsiZulu, your home language, if it's IsiZulu, now anything, there is a prerequisite requirement that has been placed in there. So it's not just a 30% pass. And you mentioned a very critical thing, the entry level, because people think that the output metric of these candidates that go to university, it's a 30% and they access universities. It's not in that way.
Yes.
You need to meet certain standards. They are prerequisite requirements. This is why you'd find that there are learners that have completed matric and they would say they have not gained entry to certain specific professions they didn't gain. Because if it had been that it was a 30% pass and we're a nation of 30%, that would have actually meant that we have got doctors that would have passed with 30%. That would have actually meant that we've got engineers that have passed with 30%. So it is not how people view it. There are prerequisite requirements for you to pass. And there's ongoing narrative and misconception that is being spearheaded and spreaded by certain politicians to dilute the narrative of how the Department of Education deals with this issue. I think it's a clear misconception, and that's not how it is. It was addressed during the announcements of results this year, to say it's not a 2% pass.
Yeah, no, I know, and everyone else uses it as a convenient tool to beat up the teachers, the education system, and everyone else. But let's go back to my guests. They've been holding for long. Makgutsis Mtshwene, Lenda, Sibanyoni-Muze, Nosihle, Magutshwa, and you've just heard from Xolani, Dube. But allow me just to take some calls as I've been inviting them on 011-883-0702. So all of you, I'm going to ask you just to note these calls, and then I'll ask you to reflect on what they've said in a short while. Natasha, you are in Joburg. Welcome. Hi.
Good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm free. How are you, Tash?
100%. I'm great. Thank you.
Yes, it's your turn.
All right. I just wanted to compliment and honor one of your speakers, Teacher Lenda Sibanyoni. She is one of the best in this industry. My daughter attended at her creche, the Little Stars, Gabriella Romani. And I promise you that was the best decision I ever did, because right now she's in grade 1. But the foundation that Teacher Lenda's the Little Stars creche with the teachers, Teacher Sylvia and Beatrice, they literally laid a solid foundation and a very, very strong, bright future for my daughter. So Teacher Lenda is the best. She is amazing. She is so passionate about her job. She loves it. It's like she's forever on duty. Whenever, even during the odd hours, you call, she'll assist. Any behavioral issues, you chat with her. She assists you 100%. That woman is the light in the ECD.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness me. She's blushing, Natasha. Thanks for that call from a parent. I think that's what teachers should get every now and then, this beautiful feedback. 13 to 11. Lerato, you are in Northwest. Hi, welcome.
Hello, sir, and welcome, and hello to all the people there. You know, my problem, I had one of the primary teachers saying that he gives more work to the learner. Maybe the learner might not be doing well in the class, maybe interrupting or doing something that is not usual.
Yes.
So my question to her, because according to CAP, every educator who comes with a subject must give at least 3 classwork per day. I mean, per week.
Okay.
So how is that learner, whom she's giving a lot of work to do, going to have time to play? Whereas the learners that we are having these days, they are those ones who like to see themselves doing football, doing drawing, doing phones. And then, as I speak now to you, most of the educators, when we go to workshops, I found us talking, crying loud about one thing, that we give much work to the learners that they write in their classwork book, whereas there is no quality in what we have given to them. Because if I have to teach a lesson, say now I'm teaching about the living and non-living, I guess.
Yes.
Whereby I have to explain to the learner everything, and then take it to the outside, where he's living.
Sure.
How is he giving more work of living and non-living, whereas the learner has got maths and he's got other subjects he must do the work every day.
Lerato, we got you, and I'm paid for talking, so I'm going to resist the temptation of answering on her behalf. She did mention that, however, she'll speak for herself. Let me just leave it at that. Thabo in Soweto. Tibos, welcome.
How are you, sir?
I'm free. How's it going, Tibos?
I'm not good. I'm an educator myself as well.
Well done. What's up?
I wanted to make a comment regarding the salary.
Yeah.
Yeah, the salary is very, very bad. The salary doesn't have stamina. It is very, very demotivating. I got paid yesterday. I have a bond. I have a car. And I'm just driving a cheapest kind of market. They're very, very cheapest. But like now, I have nothing with me.
Oh, man.
I paid the bond. I paid the house. And those things are the necessities.
Yes.
So the government must just do something about the salary. And I'm not alone. Even my colleagues, I have colleagues who are admitted because of depression. And if you look, the cause of depression, it is money.
Yeah.
So the salary, it is very, very bad.
So, Tibos, without interrupting you, just 2 questions. what grade are you teaching?
I'm
And
teaching grade 12, 11, mathematics.
okay, important subject, and not that
Important
others are
subject.
not. Secondly, what do you believe would be an appropriate salary in numbers for someone of your experience and at your level? If everything was fine, if everything was ideal in the world, what should you be getting?
Above 35,000, sir.
Oh gosh, you're getting less than that. Oh,
Above
woman. Goodness
So,
me.
yeah, the salary is bad, sir.
For a maths teacher, high school, grade
for
12
maths
and
teacher,
11, to
grade
get
12
oh,
and
woman.
11. And we are teaching Monday to Sunday.
I
Monday
know.
If you are teaching grade 12, you have to be there Monday. It is bad, sir, honestly speaking. Imagine I got paid yesterday, but I have nothing in my fridge.
No, Tibos.
Yeah.
Oh, guys,
So
we
I
need
don't-
to do
I-
better.
Yeah, I usually advise my learners, whenever you choose a career, avoid teaching. There's no money.
Oh, my gosh. And rightly so. You know, I was a fairly young journalist some many years ago, and Naledi Pandor was still the Minister of Education. So my beat was education at the time. And in one of the meetings, in one of the press meetings that we had, press conferences that she was holding at the time, she then said that it's quite unfortunate that journalists are earning more than teachers. And, you know, I was obviously subjectively dissatisfied with that comment, but I could get the gist of it because the real important issue she was making, she could have made a different point, but I think the real issue that she was making was that we need to take teachers seriously and they need to earn proper salaries. Yeah, I mean, it should be over 50 at your level. Tibos. It should be over 50 at your level. But thanks for your call. All the best, Thabo. We'll chat. Thanks, I really appreciate your call. Lenda, the money seems to be coming up every now and then.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a real crisis.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then, Makgutsis, I think it was you, one of our listeners wanted to challenge you on giving naughty learners more work.
Yes.
Yes.
I think the parent did not understand me. I giving more work. I'm referring to more responsibilities in the classroom, because when you diagnose learners and when you look into their learning strategies and their behavioral issues, you tend to realize that some learners are troublesome in the classroom due to attention seeking. Sometimes they lack engagement or are bored. So once you make them maybe class captain, ask them to assist you with giving out handouts, worksheets, and then rubbing the board. So it keeps them busy so that they don't get enough time to be moving around the classroom, making noise, disrupting other learners.
Yeah. No, I understood you to be saying that. Nosihle, it's your turn now. Do you want to reflect on that? The money that has been expressed for teachers, the conditions. What say you on that?
Guys, we are working very hard. I mean, all the professions come from the teacher, so we are getting less other than the other professions. And we are working hard, like we are shaping the minds of the learners. We are doing so much. As we are dealing with large class sizes. You need to manage and engage large number of learners, and you need to push the ATPs. And the learners know nothing. You need to work hard. The workload, teaching the learners new subjects it's too much, and we need to get what we deserve, actually.
Yeah, but why are you all teachers so shy to talk about money? Is it in your training? Lenda is in front of me. She's shy to talk about all of you are shy. Is it? Tell me. I mean, what is the figure that would be appropriate for you guys? Which figure would be okay?
It's definitely 35,000.
At entry level.
At least entry level, maybe 30.
Okay.
You can't have like maybe 6 years or 5 years experience, but earning 20,000.
Yeah.
19K.
No. Okay, and for you, Lenda, the figures as we say goodbye. What would be an appropriate figure, an ideal figure?
I think at ECD level, there's many factors that actually contribute to that. But I think, they deserve anything above 10,000, 15,000.
Yeah.
That should be appropriate.
That should be appropriate, right? And Xolani, you were also very diplomatic. You sounded like a diplomat. You sounded like an ambassador of South Africa at some country in the Americas somewhere. They're afraid to talk about money. What would be ideal, Xolani? Let's push you for that before you replace Rasul as is coming back as an ambassador.
Okay, no, it's fine. The first point is that all teachers should be earning the same salary, regardless of whether it's ECD or anything, because we are all nation builders and we work in different sectors. But since you have cornered me, I would suggest that I would believe that for an entry-level educator, at least it should be 35,000 before deductions.
Sure.
For an entry-level educator.
Sure. Everybody, we have about 20 seconds remaining. For everyone. And I'll finish off with Lenda here in the studio. Let's start off first with you, Nosihle, literally in 20 seconds. What's the best thing about being a teacher?
Oh, giving the kids the future. Obviously, prepare them for better life. That's it.
Fantastic. Makgutsis, you? Great thing about being a teacher?
For me, it will be two highlights that I've had this year. One of my Lena is in university, in the Nelson Mandela University.
Beautiful.
He keeps on calling me and say, "Ma'am, thank you so much for the teachings. I'm using everything you've taught me to survive." And then also I've had a boy who was in rehab, and then I've given myself time to work with him, sit with him and interact with him. He came to me last week, said to me, "Ma'am, thank you so much for the attention that you've given me and shown me that I can actually beat what I'm going through." So that's it.
That's it. And Xolani, your profession, one good thing about it?
Yeah, it's one good thing about it. It's that we change characters.
Yeah.
We make sure that we impact positively in terms of what the state becomes.
Sure. Great stuff.
Because
and I have to, and Lenda, you in closing?
So for me, the best thing basically is the opportunity, to make a real difference in a child's life.
Yeah.
Fostering that growth and development and witnessing that aha moment, for me, that's amazing.
I have to thank you all. You were all amazing. Sadly, we've run out of time. Really appreciate it.